Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today to another edition of the NASCAR Fantasy Podcast on the channel. We have New Hampshire predictions for you guys as we are less than an hour away from the start of today's Cup Series race. Hopefully we have a good one here today. The last couple years at New Hampshire have actually put on some pretty good races with some closer finishes piled onto that as well in two of the last three races. Going to go through all the predictions today for drivers who will likely not contend for a win and likely not run well, so don't put those drivers in your fantasy lineup. Possible sleeper or sleeper picks for today's fantasy advice, and as well as my top three predictions for drivers who will contend possibly for a win. Definitely have a good day, and then eventually my win pick as well. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Oni, Cap24, Kyle Larson fan, Cars One Boy, welcome to the stream. So, probably can't see the race. I'll be at the pool. Well, you can do just what I'm about to say is on the channel. We will be doing a live commentary of today's Cup race once again. I do also want to put out the sorry for not being live last night. I was at my grandpa's house. We were just spending the night up there. I knew we weren't going to have time for NASCAR Heat anyway with me having to work. So it was going to be a NASCAR 05 race. I will make that up for you guys tomorrow as we'll be doing a doubleheader with NASCAR Heat 5 and NASCAR 05 tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. We'll probably be streaming all day because the NASCAR Fantasy Podcast post-race edition of today's race will be live tomorrow as well. So tomorrow will be a very busy day on the channel. Tyler Burbeck, welcome to the stream as well. I know Kiselowski's been struggling, but he is a must-have. Well, we'll see. As usual, we start off with the don't haves, but before we get into it, again, like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We're going to have a fun next couple hours on the channel. Again, this is our pre-race to the live commentary that we will have coming up after this for today's Cup race. So, again, starting with the don't haves, I have not one, not two, not three like usual, but four drivers you should absolutely stay away from in today's race at New Hampshire as far as your fantasy lineups are concerned. We're going to start things off with maybe I would say the most shocking of those drivers. It's going to be the guy that actually won last weekend, Kurt Busch. I've been very high on Kurt Busch's radar, just put him into the top 10 of the power rankings list for the first time all season after that win, securing his spot into the playoffs. Even before that win, he had 4 top 10s in the last 5 races. Why I think Kurt Busch is a don't have for today's race is simply because of his stats at New Hampshire. He's only got 4 top 10 finishes in the last 16 races at New Hampshire, and that has not been good this season. On the ovals that have had the 750 horsepower package this season, he's only got 1 top 10. That was at Nashville when he finished 8th. His other finishes on the ovals with the 750 package include 13th, 13th, 21st, and 15th. That is not even including Dirt Bristol, which I believe he finished outside the top 10 there as well. So, not for those reasons, I would not take him up there. The only 750 tracks he has been performing very well on is the road courses. He's got 3 top 10s on road courses this year of the 4 that we've ran. But of the ovals with the 750 package, again, he's only 1 for, I guess, 6 if you want to count Dirt Bristol in there. I excluded it, but 1 for 6 on 750 horsepower ovals so far this season and finishing in the top 10. So I'm down on Kurt Busch for this week. Very good chance when we go back to a road course, back-to-back road courses indeed, after this 2-week break at Watkins Glen, the Indy road course, that Kurt Busch will pick it back up again. Chip Ganassi Racing as a whole and Chevrolet as a whole has been really good over the last, pretty much all season, but especially Chip Ganassi Racing has turned on the hot streak the last 5 or 6 weeks. If they do have a driver that could contend for a top 10 today, I think it'll likely be Chastain and not Kurt Busch for those reasons I just stated. Let's see. DRG, welcome to the stream as well. Benedetto is going to prove everyone wrong today and get that win. That is a very bold prediction. Don't have calling it Joey. Joey is not a don't have on here. He does have 2 career wins at New Hampshire as well. Denny Hamlin. Oh, geez, little piece. Denny, welcome to the stream. All right. Thanks for everybody tuning in here early on. So, again, Kurt Busch is a don't have. I expect him to finish outside the top 10 today. Again, for the last 5 races he has, but I think this is a race he will finish outside the top 10. I'm going to go with 2 more. Actually, the next 3 are all Chevrolets, but I'm going to focus on the Hendrick Motorsports cap. These two Hendrick Motorsports drivers are a no-go in not only my fantasy lineup, but I think that you guys back at home should also not put these guys in your fantasy team today. We're going to start off with William Byron. Byron has been probably the most consistent Hendrick driver from the very start of the finish in the Daytona 500 to where we are right now this season. The reason why I don't expect him to have a good day is, well, for one, he's slowly kind of been taking a step back. In the last four 750 horsepower tracks, this includes road courses, the last four 750 tracks in the Cup Series, 33rd, 3rd, which is his only top 10, 35th and 11th in those races. So he's taken a step back there. And also at New Hampshire, in the three races he's had in his career here, all with Hendrick Motorsports, he's finished outside the top 10 in all three of them. An 11th place finish last season, 12th 2 years ago, and 14th in his rookie season here at New Hampshire. So not bad, but it doesn't, between the stats that I just stated with the 750 tracks in recent runnings here in 2021, on top of the fact that he has never finished in the top 10 at New Hampshire in his three starts, it looks as if that the possibility of him having a good day isn't as high as the possibility of him not having a good day. So I've got William Byron not finishing in the top 10 today. He's only done that a few times this season where he has not. I think this is one of those races he does not finish in the top 10 for, again, all the stats that I just stated. Another Hendrick Motorsports driver that I expect not to have a good run here today is going to be a guy by the name of Alex Bowman. Coincidentally, Bowman does have 2 wins on 750 horsepower tracks this season. But outside of those 2 races he has won, he has not finished in the top 10 on a 750 horsepower oval, much like what Kurt Busch has done this year statistically. 14th, 17th, 34th, and 13th are the 4 races. Again, that's excluding Dirt Bristol. On the 4 races, or I guess that would be including Dirt Bristol. But anyway, I mean, he's a dirt guy too, so he didn't even perform well there. Anyway, so those are the 4 races on ovals with the 750 package outside of his 2 wins. So it seems like he is either going to contend for a win today or he is not going to run well at all. And considering his New Hampshire stats, much like William Byron, has not finished in the top 10 since going to Hendrick Motorsports. And even before Hendrick Motorsports, he obviously didn't finish in the top 10 at New Hampshire. 15th, 14th, and 11th in his 3 career starts here. 15th last season, 14th 2 seasons ago. In 2019, 2018, he finished 11th. So it's very similar stats to Byron in his career with HMS at New Hampshire. And again, the 750 ovals have not been good, just like Kurt Busch so far this season, for the most part. Again, he has 2 wins, and I get that. I understand that. And that's why I say he's either going to contend for a win today or he is going to be way off on speed. And considering his track success at New Hampshire isn't great, I would consider it to be the latter of those. So those are the first 3. Now, I do have a special 4th driver on the don't have list so far this season. The next don't have pick is going to be Austin Dillon. I wasn't originally going to put him on there. Usually I only put 3 on the don't haves. The reason why I put 4 is because I happened to look at Austin Dillon's stats at New Hampshire in his career, and it is abysmal. I mean, it is like Austin Dillon on a road course level bad. He's only got, well, I guess it's a little better because he's got 1 top 10, but he's got 1 top 10 and 11 career starts at New Hampshire, and that was a 10th place finish. So he has not finished better than that. Also, his best finish is 10th on 750 horsepower tracks this season as a whole. That's including road courses, short tracks, and then if you want to consider intermediate like Dover, Phoenix, and then Nashville as well. So all of the 750 tracks, we have had 12 of them if you include the Clash earlier this season too. So if you include the Clash, we've had 12 750 races. Austin Dillon has only finished in the top 10 in those races once, and it was a 10th place finish, and I believe that was back at Darlington if I'm not mistaken. Actually, let me look real quick. It was either Darlington or Dover. Let me pull Austin Dillon's season stats back up. I know he's only got 1 though. I just can't remember what track it was at. It was at Richmond, sorry. Richmond was the only top 10 he's had on a 750 track this season. So Austin Dillon has been running a lot more consistently. He has been running better. RCR as a whole has been running better. But with Austin Dillon specifically, it seems to be on the 550 tracks, not the 750 tracks. And with the 550 tracks, he was a must-have at Atlanta last week. He ran 12th, just finished outside the top 10, what I expected for him. But he does have 4 top 10s on 550 or on a mile and a half this season. So that has been where the bread and butter has been at for Austin Dillon, that 3 team. The short tracks, the 750 tracks as a whole, including road courses especially, they have not been great for Austin Dillon so far this season. See what you guys are saying in the chat. Do you guys agree with the picks? Do you guys disagree with the picks that I have for the don't haves today? Again, drivers I expect to finish all outside the top 10 today. Kurt Busch, Alex Bowman, William Byron, and Austin Dillon. All Chevys, coincidentally, which is very, very bold considering how strong Chevy has been this season, but that's what I think. And the last 2 races have not gone that well for predictions for me, but outside of that, well, except for predicting Chase Elliott to win at Road America, I guess that part of the predictions 2 weeks ago was good, but outside of that, not so much. And last week too, with the drivers having contend for a win, I said both the Busch brothers could contend, and they did. But yeah, outside of that though, like the don't haves and the sleeper picks have been way off the last few weeks. Hopefully, I'm right with this one. I have an extra don't have in there, so maybe if I get all 4 of them right, I'll get right back bounced into my prediction winning ways. Shot in the dark, Tyler Reddick today. Yeah, again, and much like with Kurt Busch and Chip Ganassi Racing, I'm not saying that RCR as a whole is going to struggle. I'm just saying Austin Dillon's going to struggle today. Tyler Reddick could go out there and have a good show. I think Ross Chastain could go out there and have a good show, but Kurt Busch and Austin Dillon, I just don't think are going to finish inside the top 10 at all today. And Kurt Busch I have more confidence in Kurt Busch than Austin Dillon, considering Kurt Busch won last week, considering he's been on a much hotter streak than Austin Dillon in the last couple of races. So I would consider that there's a better chance that Kurt Busch can finish in the top 10. My predictions are that he won't. And he could score stage points today too. But again, at the end of the day, it's where you finish is what matters with these predictions. I don't think Kurt Busch or Austin Dillon will get there, as well as Byron and Bowman. Austin Dillon will get a top 10 today, says Denny. Oh, okay. Well, hey, I mean, he could. He's only got 1 in his career, though, at New Hampshire in 11 career races. So it's not likely, but we'll see. Kyle Busch looks fast for today's race. Well, they had no practice or qualifying, and he didn't run the Xfinity race, so I don't know how you could say he looks fast for today's race, considering the race hasn't started. But that is a good prediction, though, that he could contend. But to say he looks fast for today's race, I think that's just you hoping that he looks fast for today's race. Let's see if anybody else has joined the chat that I might have missed shouting out. Last time he lost his DRG. Oh, yeah. Hey, I mean, it's definitely possible. That history could repeat itself today. With Benedetto having a good run. And that leads into the sleeper picks for this week. I only have 1 sleeper pick. Usually I have 2 to 3. I only have 1 because I doubled up on the don't haves, giving you guys 4 guys you should absolutely not have in your lineup. So only 1 sleeper pick for this week, and that guy is Matt Benedetto. That team's been clicking the last couple of weeks since making the crew chief change about 5 or 6 races ago, just before the All-Star race, I believe, is when they made that crew chief change. They ran pretty well at Sonoma, and then, yes, they had a couple finishes outside the top 10, but in the last 2 races, he's got back-to-back top 10s, a 10th at Road America, led some laps in that race, actually not really contended for a win by the finishing results and how he faded in that final run, but it looked for a bit there that he could contend for a win, which is not something we have really said much with Matt Benedetto in his Cup Series career. It's been few and far between when it seems to happen. And then also he finished 9th last week at Atlanta. So I do expect them to keep that momentum rolling. As far as stats for Matt Benedetto at New Hampshire, this is one of his better racetracks in the Cup Series that is really not talked about with Matt Benedetto. He has finished 5th and 6th here in the last 2 races with 2 different teams. Last year with the Wood Brothers, he finished 6th, had a top 5 here with Levine Family Racing in 2019. So I think he'll make it 3 straight top 10s at New Hampshire in his career, 2nd straight with the Wood Brothers, and I think he'll make it 3 top 10s consecutively, trying to get the momentum rolling. They're likely going to have to win a race to get into the playoffs, but if they are in position to get any stage points, they will fight for all they can because you never know what's going to happen. You never know. Again, Austin Dillon, He has never finished on the top 10 on a road course. We got 2 road courses coming up, and I don't expect him to have a good day today at New Hampshire, one of his worst tracks as far as ovals go. So you never know if Austin Dillon has 3 straight bad races. Yes, Matt Benedetto's 138 points back, but if he can gain 40 or score over 40 points a race, and let's say he gains 10 to 20 points 3 races in a row. If he gains 20 points 3 races in a row, he cuts that in half, and he's about 1 race out, which is really all you need going into Daytona, because you never know what could happen there too. Um, I'm just saying you never know. I'm not saying Benedetto will point his way in or that he has a great chance, but I think he will have a great run today. And he'll be fighting for every point he's got because of the deficit he's got below the cutoff line. So, yeah, I think Matt Benedetto easily gets a top 10 today. Jackson Thomas, welcome to the stream as well. Kyle Busch drives the M&M's car. It's always fast. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot you said something about the M&M's, that he's good because he drives for M&M's or something. Or that's his sponsor. Trevor Grimes, welcome to the stream as well. You never know with Daytona's the cutoff. Yeah, exactly. And he could go out there and win that. I mean, he's come very close to winning on super speedways the last couple of seasons. Now, granted, both times it's been at Talladega, but he led coming to the white flag this season. He led coming to the white flag last season at Talladega. Who knows? If he's up there at the front, he'll contend for a win at Daytona as well. He actually ran pretty good there in the July race at Daytona last year, too. That's how he made it into the playoffs. He had a good points day on that final cutoff race. So, yeah, we'll see. I'd be so happy. That's my guy. Hey, I think he will have a good run today. I really do think Matt Benedetto will have a good run today. Obviously, they had some bad news, or he had some bad news more so earlier in the week that he's not going back with the Wood Brothers next year, which is very roller coaster of a season off the racetrack that 21 team and that Matt Benedetto has had. Considering the fact that when it was announced that rumored that Keselowski was going to go to Roush and leave Penske, that it looked like the door was going to be open for Benedetto to stay another year. But now Harrison Burton's taken over. He's in a contract year, obviously, and he's not staying with the team he's running for. So he needs to get some good runs in here like he has the last couple seasons to try and prove himself. Why he could contend with at least a B-star team. Again, 23XI's looking to expand next year. I don't think the Benedetto is the greatest pick there, but let's say they can't land Kurt Busch. Let's say Kurt Busch goes to Trackhouse. 23XI can't expand with him. You got Matt Benedetto looking for a ride. He ran Toyota there with Levine Family Racing, so he's got those ties. He's ran Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series before. He's got ties with Toyota. He never burnt a bridge when he left there. They just didn't re-sign him. And I think if there is a possible landing spot for Matt Benedetto, maybe 23XI. I mean, that because outside of that, I don't know. In the Cup Series, at least, where he could go. The only other thing I could see is Stuart Haas Racing if they let go of Cole Custer and or Eric Almirola. If they let go of one or both of those guys, I think that could definitely open up some doors, considering he is with Ford currently. It has nothing to do with Penske, but he is honestly, like, statistically, I feel like Eric Almirola and Matt Benedetto are like right there with each other. So maybe they could feed off each other well. Cole Custer, yeah, he got a win in his rookie season. Outside of that rookie win, he's been abysmal this year. And, even Eric Almirola passed him in points a couple weeks ago because of how bad Cole Custer has been middle of the season. So you never know. What do you think about Mandy D going to 23XI? Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's possible. I think they look at a guy like Kurt Busch to help because they're gonna want to search for somebody that's like a Kurt Busch who is a free agent this year. Maybe even like a Ryan Newman. I know Newman. I can't see Newman in Toyota, but that experienced driver to help with Bubba Wallace and help improve him because he has been with a single car team literally his whole Cup Series career at RPM and now with 23XI. I know they got the alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing, but they're not in the same building every day throughout the course of the week working on cars. He can't. I mean, the only time there's no practice and qualifying, so it's not like he can go up after practice, except for these few races we have had practice and talk to Kyle Busch, say, hey, what are you doing? How can I, help with that? So he doesn't have that. So I feel like if they were going to try to get somebody, Kurt Busch would be the guy. Obviously, Kurt Busch is looking at either 23XI or Trackhouse. So, it's like I don't see him going anywhere outside of those two teams. Unless he reunites with Stuart Haas Racing, that'd be pretty cool, but I don't think that that's going to happen. I think he is sticking with one of those two teams. Which Hendrick guy would you go for, Byron or Bowman? Thoughts on Harvick and Brad? So I didn't plan on having Keselowski or Harvick as a must-have, but I do think that they could contend to have a pretty good day today. Harvick, the only reason I didn't put him as a must-have today for Kevin Harvick's sake is just because of the season that his team has had. Obviously, his track statistics at New Hampshire, he's won 3 races there since 2015, I believe. So he definitely could contend for a win uh, here today if all things go well. And I will say that it seems like he's performed. I don't know. It's weird. It's like he hasn't done bet. I would have thought that Stuart Haas Racing as a whole has done better with the 750 package, but as far as Harvick goes, he's been pretty equal with 750 and 550. He can't really like sway one way or the other. He's inconsistent with both. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. Tough run the last 2 weeks for Harvick too. They do not have momentum coming into this week, considering they finished outside the top 10 at Atlanta, which is one of his better racetracks, much like New Hampshire. And then Road America, he was just terrible. Finished 27th, rated like 20th the whole race. And then as far as Bowman and Byron, I already talked about them. I do not trust either one of those two to have a good day today. Their stats since going to Hendrick Motorsports or in their career for Byron's sake at New Hampshire, they have not finished in the top 10 here. And although Chevrolet has been good so far this season, I think if there was one race that Chevy was not going to perform as well, it would be today. So I wouldn't, like, if you were looking fantasy or betting wise, I wouldn't pull for either one of those two guys. I would not take Bowman or Byron. They are on my don't haves for a reason. 10 people watching. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Yes, again, this is basically our pre race. We will be having some coverage of the race today on the channel. So we'll be doing a live commentary there as well. That'll be a lot of fun. Now we got 11 people watching. Again, thanks for everybody tuning in. So that will be starting at 3:10. So we only got about 15 minutes till that stream starts. So we got to wrap things up here. The only other thing we have to cover now today is obviously my race win pick, and that's going to be after I talk about these 3 drivers that are absolute must-haves. If you're playing for fantasy, again, you can join the NASCAR Fantasy League on the NASCAR mobile app or website. Go to Fantasy, sign up with your email. It's free to join. You have a chance to win 2 tickets to any race of your choosing in 2022 if you win the regular season or the playoff championship. Obviously, you don't have a shot at the regular season championship if you're new trying to get into the league, but everything resets for the playoffs. You're automatically in for the playoffs. Everything starts at 0, so you will have a chance to win there. Might as well get some practice these last few races before the playoffs. Harvick will win at some point. I don't know. I would have said that like 10 weeks ago, but considering, he hasn't gotten really any better or worse for the most part, he's just kind of been the same. Same goes for Denny Hamlin. Hamlin hasn't, he's actually kind of decreased compared to how he started the season, but he's still consistent. I just don't see a win, in his future. If he doesn't get it done today, I don't think he wins in the regular season. Because you got Michigan, which he ran well last year, but I don't look at, Michigan as being one of those tracks that are great for Hamlin. Plus, he's been a little bit better at the 750 versus the 550 package this season, so there's that. And then the 2 road courses, Watkins Glen, I don't see him winning. I don't see him at Indy Road Course. And then Daytona is actually probably his best chance to win, I think, the rest of the season, but it's Daytona. Anything could happen there. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe in the playoffs, but as far as the regular season goes, I'd lean on Denny Hamlin not winning a race in the regular season. Why do you always do the coverage for the race while I'm at the track? It's because it's on NBC Sports Network. Again, I've only, for the most part this season, been doing the races that are on either Fox Sports 1 or NBCSN because that's the least likely chance that you guys will have of watching the race. So that's the only, maybe possible coverage you'll have of the race. And I'll be, commentating realistically throughout it. We'll have a live leaderboard, so have all that information for you guys. So it just is what it is. I think there's only like 4 or 5 more races this season that are on NBC Sports Network, so we don't have too many more of these races left this season. I think the only race the rest of the year I plan on doing on the main NBC, like I did in the main Fox only a couple times this year, would be the Daytona regular season finale. maybe, and that's a question mark on that one. There's no guarantee. I will be doing the Xfinity Series for that race, but I don't know about the Cup race. I know I have a fantasy football draft coming up around that time. Last year came on the same night, uh, and I was watching the race on my phone, and on my laptop, when I wasn't drafting at his house. So if that's on the same date again this year, it'll be a bunch of the same, so I won't be able to commentate. All right, so again, into the must-haves here. We only got about 10 minutes to get this in. So here are the three drivers you should absolutely start in your fantasy lineup. If you have them, use them. If you have, even if you have one usage left for them, honestly, you should probably use them. This guy, probably the most obvious of the must-haves for this week, and I'd say it is Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin has finished in the top two, so that means runner-up or a win in 3 of the last 6 races at New Hampshire. He is a 3-time New Hampshire winner. All 3 of those wins came in 2007, 2012, and 2017, which would have been 6 races ago as far as New Hampshire. Or, sorry, not 4 races. Sorry, 4 races ago. I forgot they only had 1 race at New Hampshire the last few years. So Denny Hamlin, obviously, he's got the statistical success here. Again, like I kind of mentioned, it seems like he's been better on the 750 tracks than the 550 tracks so far this season, so I'd lean that way as well. And I don't expect him to absolutely contend for a win today. It's not a guarantee that he is going to contend for the win today, in my opinion, because again, as I just stated, I just don't feel confident in him winning a race, but I do feel confident in him having a very great day, scoring some stage points, and finishing inside the top 10. So those are my predictions at Hamlin. If he doesn't contend for a win, it is what it is, but I think this is a good track to use him, especially if you only have 2 or 3 more usages out of him. I wouldn't use him for any of the road course races coming up. Maybe Daytona, maybe Michigan. I don't really know, so might as well use him here today. Another driver is going to be Martin Truex Jr. All 3 of these drivers are Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas, by the way, so the spoiler there. Martin Truex Jr. is the next guy I'll talk about. He probably has the hottest streak of any going into New Hampshire of these 3 drivers that I am or will talk about. He's got 6 straight top 10s at New Hampshire. All 3 of his wins so far this season have come with the 750 package so far this year. Darlington, Martinsville, and Phoenix, all on 750 tracks. Basically just over a mile or less. 2 of those races were on a 1-mile track. Maybe the closest in comparison to this would be Martinsville or Phoenix, and the fact that he won at both of those races, I think could lean Martin Truex Jr.'s way. Also, with his New Hampshire stats, we already mentioned he's got 6 straight top 10s at New Hampshire, but he also, in the last 7 races at New Hampshire, 5 of those 7 races, he has led 83 or more laps. 4 of those 7 races, he has led well over 100 laps. So I do think he has a very good chance to win today. He had a little bit of a slump going for him, but he has finished in the top 10 in 3 of the last 5 races, including the last 2. So luck is starting to go back to Truex Jr.'s side, which is what he needs with the playoffs right around the corner. Get the slump out of the way, start to maybe get another hot streak going. And we'll see. I think he can contend for a win today. I expect him to have a pretty good day. Must have if you have him in your lineup. He will be in my lineup certainly today, as well as Denny Hamlin. Hamlin will also be in my lineup today. And this driver is not going to be in my lineup today. I only have 1 usage left of him this season, but I am saving him for another particular race. So if you have more than 1 usage left with this guy, you should absolutely start him. The guy is Kyle Busch, KFB, and he is my pick to win today's race. So Kyle Busch is my pick to win today's race. Why he is a must-have? He's got 9 top 10s in the last 13 races at New Hampshire, and he has 7 top 3 finishes in the last 13 races at New Hampshire. So over half of the last 13 races, Kyle Busch has finished in the top 3 here. Only 1 third place finish in that stretch too, so 6 of those finishes are second or better. He's got a couple wins here as well. He has contended for the win here the last couple of, not last year, but within the couple seasons prior to that. Last year we had the PJ1. There's no PJ1 here at this track today, so maybe that can lean towards his success here as well. He is on a very hot streak as well. If we want to look at this season as a whole, outside of Kyle Larson, in my opinion, he is the second best driver so far this season. He's got 2 race wins. In fact, he has finished in the top 3 in each of the last 4 races so far this season, including a win and a runner-up in both Pocono races. He finished second last week to his older brother, Kurt Busch, as well at Atlanta. So Kyle Busch is on a hot streak right now. He's only got, I should say, he's got 8 straight finishes inside the top 11, and he only has one finish outside the top 11 in the last 13 races, which was at Dover. 2 wins in that stretch, of course, Kansas as well, and a third at Darlington, third at Charlotte in that stretch. So outside of the 4 straight races with the top 3, he's got other top 3s in that stretch of races as well. So I'm very high on Kyle Busch. I think he will contend for a win today. I think he'll have a great day, score a lot of stage points, at least be in the top 5 for most of the day. Prediction, obviously, with the must-haves, always them finishing inside the top 10, but I do think Kyle Busch will contend for a win. And again, Kyle Busch is my race win pick. Predicted 5 of the last 8 races correctly so far. I did not predict last week correctly, so it was 5 of 7 before last week. But yeah, Kyle Busch is my pick. Ashton G, welcome to the stream. Hey, sorry, missed the prediction video. Hey, no problem. Well, you're in here now. You got to hear or listen to my win pick prediction. R6R6, welcome to the stream. I was mowing, didn't get here on time. That's all right. You also saw the win pick. Fantasy lineups do lock in 5 minutes, by the way. So, fantasy lineups will lock at 3:10. If you don't have your lineup in, make sure you do so. Pick is C. Bell because of yesterday. Oh, okay. He's been on a little bit of a hot streak too. Toyota as a whole seems to run good at New Hampshire. Again, all 3 of the must-haves for me today are all Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas. I left Bell out of there. He's probably the least confident of the 4. I know he won yesterday, but we've seen what Christopher Bell can do in an Xfinity car, and he hasn't quite done the same with the Cup Series. He's been very inconsistent this year. I know him and Kurt Busch are similar in points, but Kurt Busch is on a much hotter streak than Christopher Bell. But Bell has had some good runs recently. He could definitely have a good day. Tell us your fantasy lineup. I cannot do that yet, but I will during the race when we do the live broadcast, live commentary of the race. I can't do that now because I don't want you guys to copy it. So, but the must-haves, again, I told you Truex and Hamlin were going to be in my lineup. Kyle Busch is not my lineup because I only have 1 usage left for him. But if you have more than one, I think you should start Kyle Busch because there's really not too many other tracks that you would consider absolutely use him. So I wouldn't use him at Michigan or probably Daytona. So 313 now is when. Oh, okay. So yeah, it was 310 before I went live. Once they have the approximate drop of the green flag, it's usually 5 minutes before that is when it locks. So I guess you got an extra couple minutes. Don't procrastinate though. Yeah, so drop of the green flag's at 3:18. So we only got a few more minutes left until the start of the next live stream. So yeah. Tyler's predictions: Hamlin first, Reddick second, Larson third. I can see it. I don't know so much about Reddick second, but hey, nice bold prediction. I pick next week Chase Elliott. Well, they don't race next week. Remember, they got a 2-week break after this because of the Olympics taking place on NBC. NBC's covering the second half of the NASCAR schedule again this season, so no NASCAR, unfortunately, for the next 2 weeks. And I won't be doing, again, if you're just tuning in also, I will not have a chance to do Darlington today with the Cup race being on, so that is why I'm absolutely doing the live commentary of the race today. And I was busy last night that I wasn't able to get the NASCAR 5 stream out. So I told you guys at the very beginning I will make it up by tomorrow. We will have a double header, actually triple header if you consider the NASCAR Fantasy Podcast sandwiched in between there. But maybe if you're home, you don't have a job, or you're off on Mondays like me, you can tune in tomorrow afternoon. We'll have a NASCAR 05 truck race at Martinsville late in the season there. Only 4 races to go to crowning a champion. Then we'll also run the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode race at Darlington. It will be the playoff opener, so you don't want to miss that as well. Another Crown Jewel event as well, Southern 500. So we'll have a throwback scheme. It'll be a pretty good one. which is for garage. Bell, Harvick, Bowman, Brad, or even no go on Bowman again. Bowman was a don't have. Do not even think about putting Bowman in your lineup today. I'd probably lean towards Bell, maybe, and the only reason I would do so is because I think his teammates are going to run really well today, so I don't see why Bell can't. Plus, he has the extra track time with running the Xfinity race yesterday. It wasn't one of my must-haves, but if I had to pick from those five, I'd probably lean on Bell. Trevor is the beast and the best. There you go. That a WWE reference? What was that? Was that Brock Lesnar? He's like, I am the beast and the best. I don't know. It was something. Maybe it was Heyman. I don't know. I can't remember. I cannot remember. All right. Well, drivers are in their race cars right now. We're going to end this live stream up right now, but we're starting another one up. Live commentary in a couple of minutes. Again, like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. You can watch the race. You can maybe mute the TV, listen to my commentary instead, or you can just simply watch or listen to my commentary of the race if that is your only outlet. If you do not have the NBC Sports Network, that is where the Cup race will be on here today. But as the drivers have already started their engines, we're going to end this one and start the next stream. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I'll see you in a few.